Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're tackling a relationship that sparked, I think, endless debates and captured imaginations, definitely worldwide, for sure. The passionate and often turbulent and controversial pairing of Anastasia Steele and Christian Grey from the 50 Shades Trilogy.
Yeah.
We'll be using excerpts from the ebooks to really understand the power dynamics and the emotional complexities, all the things that make this relationship so unique.
It is interesting because I think diving into the source material like this, we get to analyze not just what happens, but we get to hear how Anastasia experiences everything firsthand,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. And from the very first encounter, it's so clear that this isn't, a typical love story at all. I
Mhm.
mean, Anna, a college student is sent to interview Christian Grey, this enigmatic billionaire, for her school newspaper,
Right.
straightforward assignment, right?
You would think.
But their initial meeting is charged with this palpable tension right from the start.
Absolutely. And she's immediately struck by Christian, but it's not simple attraction. I mean, she's flustered, she's intimidated. There's a coldness there that she senses beneath his, polished exterior. And it really sets the stage for this kind of push and pull dynamic that defines their whole relationship.
Yeah, and it's not just his demeanor, right? Like, some of the things Christian says early on offer these little glimpses into his controlling nature, because he links this success to this ability to judge people, almost like he thinks he can manipulate outcomes, just through sheer willpower.
Hmm.
Do you think he really believes that, or is it more of a facade?
That's a really good question. I think it might be a defense mechanism because later on, when Anna suggests that maybe his success is due to luck a little bit, he's really bothered by that. It's as if acknowledging any external influence at all threatens his sense of control, you know?
That's fascinating, and it makes you wonder, I mean, if his need for control is stemming from a deeper insecurity. But things escalate quickly, though, from there. I mean, Christian starts pursuing Anna, and soon their connection takes a sharp turn away from, normal dating.
Right.
And he introduces her to this world of BDSM, proposing a dominant submissive relationship.
Mm.
And just to clarify, for listeners who might not be familiar, that's basically, where one person, the dominant, takes the lead in exploring power dynamics, while
Mhm.
the other, the submissive, allows themselves to be led.
Right. And it's so important to clarify that, healthy BDSM relationships are built on consent and communication and negotiated boundaries. But what makes the 50 Shades dynamic so compelling is that it really blurs those lines. Christian presents Anna with a contract outlining very specific rules and punishments. It's almost like he's trying to control every aspect of their interaction, not just, the intimate moments.
Right. And then there's the playroom. He describes whips, canes, all sorts of equipment that definitely leans towards, the intense side of BDSM.
Yeah, it's a lot for Anna to process, especially since she seems to crave this, more traditional romantic connection dates emotional intimacy.
Exactly. And this is where I think the central tension of their relationship really emerges. Can these two fundamentally different desires coexist?
Mhm.
Can Christian, who equates control with safety, can he meet Anna's need for a more balanced, emotionally open connection?
Right. And then to make things even more complicated, we're introduced to Jose, who is Anna's close friend, and Christian immediately views him as a rival, and his possessive side really comes out. It's as if any external relationship that Anna has threatens this control that he wants to have over her life.
Yeah, and adding to that, Elena Christian's former dominant appears on the scene, and her continued presence in his life just stirs up, jealousy and insecurity for Anna. It makes you wonder, if Christian truly wants to move on with Anna, why is he keeping this connection to his past so alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all comes to a head when another of Christian's ex-submissives, Layla, shows up, and she becomes fixated on him. It's a dangerous situation that forces Christian to act protectively towards Anna, but it also raises all these questions about the, potential risks and consequences associated with his lifestyle.
Yeah, this incident really highlights, I think, the darker side of BDSM, especially when boundaries aren't respected. It's a harsh reminder that even in, consensual relationships, power dynamics can be so easily exploited and, lead to potentially harmful situations.
Definitely a lot to unpack. But amidst all this drama, there are these glimpses of vulnerability in Christian.
Mm.
He shares snippets of his difficult childhood, with Anna offering this little window into the roots of, his 50 Shades and the emotional scars that he clearly carries. Do you think he's truly opening up to her, or is this another form of control, making her feel needed and responsible for his emotional well-being?
Hmm. That's an interesting interpretation. It could be a bit of both. I think,
Hmm.
sharing his past might be his way of building intimacy, but it also puts a lot of pressure on Anna. It forces her into this role
Yeah.
of caretaker and confidant. which could ultimately reinforce that power imbalance in their dynamic.
And Anna, bless her heart, she seems determined to understand Christian, to connect with him on this deeper level, and she pushes back against his control, albeit subtly. Remember when she gives him that keychain with the Seattle skyline?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That seemingly small gesture is actually, I think, quite significant. The keychain, a symbol of the city that they both inhabit, represents Anna's attempt to kind of bridge the gap between their worlds. She's offering him a piece of her life, a way to connect outside the confines of his carefully constructed world.
Yeah, and his reaction is so interesting. He's surprised, almost touched by this simple gift. It's like he's not used to receiving tokens of affection that aren't, tied to the rules and expectations that he sets. It definitely hints at his capacity for, genuine emotional connection, however guarded it might be.
Absolutely. And this little moment of vulnerability foreshadows this subtle shift in their dynamic.
Yep.
Anna, despite agreeing to be submissive, she starts asserting herself in these small ways, negotiating the terms of their contract, teasing him playfully, even challenging his choices.
You're so right. She's like this gentle current, slowly eroding the, rigid structure that he's built around himself. And the more she pushes back, the more we see Christian's reactions evolve. He's frustrated at times, but there's also this undeniable intrigue, even a flicker of admiration for her boldness.
It's as if he's realizing that true intimacy requires letting go of some control, allowing for a more equal partnership where both individuals can express themselves freely. And this sets the stage for the next chapter in their relationship, which, let me tell you, is where things get really interesting.
It's fascinating how their dynamic shifts as we move further into the 50 Shades world.
Yeah.
Anna, who initially seems so overwhelmed by Christian's intensity and the unconventional nature of their relationship, she starts to find her footing a little bit.
Yeah.
She doesn't just passively accept his rules, she questions them, she negotiates, and she really carves out space for her own desires.
It's a subtle but powerful transformation. If you think back to that moment when Anna insists on changing the trial period of their contract from 3 months to just 1 month.
Oh, yeah.
It's this seemingly small act of defiance, but it speaks volumes about her growing sense of agency.
Exactly. She's not just blindly following his lead anymore. She's
Yeah.
willing to stand up for what she wants, even if it means, risking his displeasure. And what's really interesting is that Christian, despite his initial resistance, he eventually agrees to her terms.
Yeah, that concession on his part, I think, is crucial because it suggests that deep down, Christian recognizes Anna's strength and her right to have a say in their relationship. It's like a little crack in his carefully constructed facade of control, a hint that maybe he's not as rigid as he appears.
And it's not just about negotiating the terms of their agreement.
Yeah.
She challenges him in other ways, too. She teases him about his control freak tendencies. She calls him out on his possessiveness. She even insists on driving his car.
Right.
These might seem like small acts of rebellion, but they chip away at his dominance, forcing him to confront the possibility of a more equal partnership.
You're absolutely right. It's as if Anna is holding up a mirror to Christian, reflecting back a version of himself that he's both intrigued by and threatened by. Her willingness to challenge him to push his buttons is both exhilarating and unsettling for him.
And let's not forget the impact of Christian's past. When he reveals those traumatic experiences of his childhood, the neglect and the abuse he suffered, it offers a glimpse into the roots of his need for control. Suddenly his rigid rules and emotional guardedness start to make a little more sense.
Yeah, those moments of vulnerability are so important because they humanize Christian. They show us that his desire for dominance isn't just about power or pleasure. It's also about protecting himself from being hurt or betrayed again. And by sharing these intimate details with Anna, he's taking a huge risk exposing, the rawest parts of himself.
And Anna, despite her own apprehension about the intensity of their relationship, she responds with empathy and understanding. She doesn't judge him or try to fix him. She simply listens, offering comfort and reassurance. It's her capacity for compassion, her willingness to see beyond his dominant exterior that seems to draw him in even deeper.
It's that emotional connection, that sense of being truly seen and accepted for who he is that Christian has been craving all along. Remember that scene where Anna asks him why he doesn't like to be touched, and his response is just, I don't know. It's heartbreaking. It reveals this profound emotional disconnect, this deep-seated fear of intimacy that stems from his traumatic past.
It's in those moments of vulnerability that you see the true complexity of their dynamic.
Yeah.
It's not just about dominance and submission. It's also about two broken individuals trying to find healing and connection in each other's arms.
Exactly. And this emotional depth is further complicated by the constant presence of external conflicts.
Yeah.
Jose, Anna's photographer friend, becomes a source of jealousy for Christian, triggering his possessive instincts. And then there's Elena, the lingering presence of Christian's former dominant, who seems to enjoy flaunting her past relationship with him, stirring up insecurity and doubt in Anna.
Right? It's as if their relationship exists in this pressure cooker of heightened emotions or external threats, and then things escalate to a whole new level when Layla, one of Christian's ex-submissives, becomes dangerously obsessed with him.
Right.
It's a terrifying situation that highlights the potential risks of their lifestyle, but it also showcases Christian's fierce protective instincts towards Anna.
The Layla incident, I think, is a turning point because it shatters the illusion of safety and control that Christian has tried so hard to maintain. He's forced to confront the fact that even with all his wealth and power, he can't completely shield Anna from the world or from the consequences of his past. And for Anna, it's a wake-up call, a stark reminder that their relationship comes with a level of danger and unpredictability that she may not be fully prepared for.
But even amidst the chaos and uncertainty, their bond continues to deepen. Anna, having witnessed Christian's vulnerability and his willingness to fight for her, she becomes more confident, more assertive in expressing her own needs and desires.
Yeah, and we see this shift reflected in her interactions with Christian. She's no longer content to simply follow his lead. She challenges his decisions, she sets boundaries, and she even teases him about his need for control. There's this playful banter that emerges, a sense of equality that wasn't there before.
And how does Christian respond to this newfound assertiveness?
It's a mixed bag. At times he's clearly frustrated by her defiance. It disrupts the carefully ordered world he's created, the dynamic he's used to. But there are also these moments where you sense a grudging admiration, a recognition that her strength and independence are actually qualities that he finds attractive.
So he's starting to realize that true love isn't about control, but about allowing the other person to be their authentic selves, even if it means challenging his own beliefs and behaviors.
Exactly, and this realization leads to a pivotal moment in their relationship. Christian's proposal. He asks Anna to marry him, and her reaction is this mixture of elation and trepidation. She loves him, but she's also acutely aware of the complexities of committing to a relationship that is so far outside the realm of, conventional norms.
It's a huge decision. It's not
Mhm.
just about saying yes to a lifetime with the man she loves, but also about accepting the unique challenges and the potential pitfalls of a marriage built on such a foundation of power dynamics and negotiated consent.
And this is where Anna's maturity and self-awareness really shine through. She
Yeah.
doesn't make a rash decision. She insists on talking to a therapist, Dr. Flynn, before giving Christian her answer. It shows a level of responsibility and a willingness to seek guidance that speaks volumes about her character.
It's a smart move. Dr. Flynn specializes in BDSM relationships, so she's well equipped to help Anna navigate the unique complexities of her situation. It also signals a shift in the power dynamic. Anna is taking control of her own destiny, seeking external support, and making decisions based on what's best for her, not just what Christian wants.
Absolutely. And this sets the stage for the final chapter of their journey, where they'll face even greater challenges and navigate the uncharted waters of marriage family and the ongoing negotiation of power and intimacy that defines their unconventional love story.
So we've reached the final chapter in Anna and Christian's journey. They're married now, and you'd think maybe the intensity would die down a bit, settle into a more predictable routine. But
Yeah.
as anyone who's read the books knows, that's definitely not the case.
Right, the honeymoon phase kind of fades, and they're left grappling with the realities of everyday life. We see them navigating the challenges of building a life together, balancing their individual needs and desires with, the demands of a committed partnership. And for a couple like this, with such a unique power dynamic at play, those challenges are just magnified tenfold.
It's almost as if the real test begins after they say, I do, and the external conflicts don't disappear either.
Yeah.
Elena Christian's former dominant continues to be a thorn in their side, stirring up old insecurities and reminding Anna of, the intensity of Christian's past relationships.
Yeah.
So how does their dynamic shift in the face of all these new pressures?
Well, one of the most striking developments, I think, is Anna's growing assertiveness. She's no longer that timid, uncertain young woman we met at the beginning of the story.
Right.
She's found her voice, and she's not afraid to use it, even when it means challenging her husband, the man who's, used to being in control.
It is so empowering to see her stand up for herself. Like when Christian wipes her personal emails and fires her boss, Jack Hyde, without even consulting her. She explodes.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I mean, it's a violation of her trust, a reminder that even with the best intentions, his need for control can be incredibly damaging.
That scene is so crucial because it highlights, I think, the fundamental tension that exists within their relationship. Christian, motivated by this desire to protect Anna, ends up kind of infantilizing her, making decisions on her behalf without respecting her autonomy. And Anna, who has grown so much throughout their journey, she refuses to be treated like a child.
Yeah.
She demands to be treated as an equal partner, someone who deserves to be informed and involved in decisions that affect her life.
And it's not just about demanding respect. She also actively tries to help Christian confront his past trauma and heal those deep-seated wounds that are driving, his need for control. She encourages him to continue therapy with Dr. Flynn and supports him as he grapples with those painful memories of his childhood. It shows incredible strength and compassion on her part.
It does. Anna recognizes that true intimacy isn't just about physical connection or, negotiated power dynamics. It's also about emotional vulnerability. It's about being able to support your partner through their darkest moments and encourage their growth. And her unwavering belief in Christian's capacity for change is a powerful catalyst for his transformation.
But like you mentioned, the external threats don't go away. In fact, they escalate dramatically when Anna is kidnapped by Jack Hyde, her vengeful former boss. It's a terrifying ordeal that could easily break them apart. But it also has this unexpected effect of pushing Christian towards a really profound shift in perspective.
Yeah, you're right. The kidnapping incident kind of shatters Christian's illusion of control. He realizes that no matter how much money or power he has, he can't always protect Anna from the world's darkness. And this realization forces him to confront his deepest fears, the terror of losing the woman he loves. It's a humbling experience that pushes him to finally relinquish some of his control to allow Anna to be his true partner, not just his submissive.
It's in those moments of vulnerability, when he's stripped of his usual defenses, that we see the real Christian emerge. The man who's capable of deep love and fierce loyalty and a willingness to change for the sake of the woman who's captured his heart. And Anna, having faced her own mortality and emerged, stronger than ever, she's ready to meet him halfway.
Exactly. She's no longer willing to settle for a life of gilded cages and suffocating protection. She needs freedom, she needs agency, she needs the space to pursue her own passions and ambitions. And what's remarkable is that Christian, having gone through his own transformation, recognizes this need and begins to support her in ways that he never could have imagined before.
So the ending of the 50 Shades trilogy, while certainly romanticized, offers this glimpse of hope for a more balanced and equitable dynamic between them. It suggests that even a relationship that begins with such a stark power imbalance can evolve into something more profound, a partnership built on mutual respect and trust and a shared journey of growth and self-discovery.
It's a reminder that love, in all its messy complexity, has the potential to transform us, challenge our, deepest held beliefs, and to push us towards becoming the best versions of ourselves.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring the nuances of Anna and Christian's relationship, the power dynamics at play, the challenges they face, and ultimately their capacity for growth and transformation.
It's a story that continues to spark debate and provoke strong reactions, but it also offers this fascinating lens through which to examine the complexities of human desire, the boundaries of intimacy, and the enduring power of love to challenge and ultimately redefine our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we're left with a final thought-provoking question for you to ponder. Can a relationship built on such a foundation of power imbalance and negotiated consent truly evolve into a healthy, sustainable, and fulfilling partnership? Or is it ultimately destined to remain a fantasy, a passionate but fleeting escape from the complexities of real-world relationships? We'll leave that for you to decide. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of 50 Shades.